Avoidants are so good at shutting you out after a breakup that it can make you start to doubt if the relationship was even real in the first place. You know, the more you try to get to them to talk to you, the more they pull away, which just leaves you alone and confused. So how are you supposed to reconnect with them if they refuse to even get close? Well, there's actually something that you're missing that your avoidant ex can't resist that will make them want you back desperately. Now, I'm Brad Browning, author of the X Factor 2.0 and a breakup coach here on YouTube for almost 15 years now. In my experience as a breakup coach, I find that avoidant exes can be the toughest to crack because they're so good at keeping their distance and disengaging from their feelings. But there are ways to combat this. So to understand what your avoidant ex can't resist, you first have to understand what avoidance is and how it actually works. And to explain that, let's start by addressing a very common myth about avoidance. Now, this myth is so pervasive, and if you believe it, as many do, it's going to change how you're treating your avoidant ex, and it's going to really hurt your chances. And this is the idea that avoidant exes are emotionless or ice cold. People say that as if an avoidant can flip a switch and turn off their feelings for you. You know, they can dismiss the relationship like it never even happened. And this feeling can be really hard to face because it's like the relationship only mattered to you. For them, it was more like a distraction, something not even worth remembering. Now, I don't want to discount your feelings in this situation because of course they are valid. You know, avoidance can make you feel this way, but this isn't a result of them being cold, unfeeling robots. It's actually the opposite. Avoidants do this as a strategy of emotional regulation to keep themselves safe. So essentially, it's because they have such strong feelings for you that they're going to shut down, push you away and sort of downplay the whole relationship. So avoidants aren't emotionless, and they're certainly not able to just turn off their feelings for you and move on. What they can do is prevent these emotions from showing on their face or in their behavior. This is actually just another form of avoidance that they're doing. And to understand this, let's use an example here. So say you and this person are having a big fight. You're incensed by something they did or said. You're yelling and your eyes are filling with tears as you gesture wildly with your hands, trying to make them see how much they hurt you. And meanwhile, they're getting quieter, their voice flatter, and they're refusing to even make eye contact with you. Maybe their arms are crossed and they're facing away from you, calmly explaining to you that you're making a big deal over nothing. Now, someone who didn't know the situation might think that the two of you are basically strangers, just based on how cold this person's being towards you. Now, it's not that this person's feelings for you have suddenly evaporated. It's not that they were pretending to care about you and that this is their true self showing. It's actually the opposite. They're putting on a mask because they're afraid to open up and actually be vulnerable. Avoidants really struggle with intimacy and connection because they don't want other people to see their true feelings, especially as these feelings become intense and troubling. They fear being seen and judged by the people that are closest to them. So really, the more they care, the more they're going to shut down and just push you away. Now, I've actually already made an entire video about how this works that I'll link to in the description below and in the pop-up here in the corner if you want to know the whole story. Just don't let people tell you that avoidants are emotionless robots who don't actually care about you. This is just the poker face they use to stop themselves from really being seen by you. Really, avoidants are actually more emotional than other people, at least in a way. Because while the rest of us may be more likely to cry or yell, avoidants don't have any outlet for their emotions, so they're more likely to fester and let their emotions drive their behavior. And negative emotions like fear and resentment keep building and building until the avoidant just can't take them anymore, and they activate avoidant behavior like shutting down or pushing people away. And that brings us to this one major thing that your avoidant ex can't resist. So as we've already established, closeness is a major trigger for them. It's something that they actively rebel against. And this is why distance is your best friend when it comes to dealing with an avoidant ex. You need to be able to give them space and maintain that space in a very specific way. Now, I know you may be saying, but they're already not talking to me, so how much more space can I give them? But that is the point. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you've tried reaching out to your ex at least a few times following the breakup. You've probably texted them, called them, liked their photos on social media. Some of you may have even gotten upset when they rebuffed your advances. Maybe you double or triple texted, you left messages. You might even have begged them for another chance, telling them that you can make them happy if they just let you in. But all that's just going to give them more reason to retreat further from you. I know that their communication has been probably anything but clear, but if you look at it from their perspective, they feel that they've been setting boundaries by pulling away. And then by reaching out, you've sort of brushed aside those boundaries. Now, of course, they could talk to you about this and be clear and upfront, but that's never going to be the first instinct of an avoidant. That kind of intense confrontation is exactly what they're trying to avoid. So as far as they're concerned, they have no option but to retreat even further from you. And this vicious cycle is what has brought you here. So you need to meet this avoidance by taking more distance of your own. It may be hard to stop reaching out to them. It's going to feel like you're losing them when you don't get to speak to them for weeks on end. It may even feel like messaging them and getting no response is actually better than nothing at least, because it feels like the door is still open. But if you can keep your distance, something incredible is going to happen in your ex's mind that's going to make them want you back more than anything else. Because the thing about avoidance is that it's not just something that your ex does on their own. It's actually a cycle that you're a part of too. And this is a dynamic that your ex is probably quite familiar with if they've dated, even one other person before you. And it starts when they get close to someone. It feels good, but it also feels scary, like they're losing a part of themselves. And as the closeness builds, so does that sense that they're losing themselves. So they start to pull away, to take some distance from this person, and then the other person pursues them, and so they pull away even further. I've heard it described as like chasing a tissue around with a hairdryer. You'll never actually catch it because the chasing actually pushes it further away. But what happens when you turn off the hairdryer? You'll see that when you stop chasing them, they stop running because really they have nothing to run from, nothing to blame for their fears in the relationship. Suddenly they're totally alone, a cold Kleenex on the floor with no one trying to get their attention. You see, the avoidant is so used to that dynamic of being chased and then pulling away that it's become comfortable for them, safe. They don't like it, but they at least understand how to deal with it. And when it's suddenly gone, they don't know what to do with themselves. They'll feel unattractive and unwanted. And they'll also start to see the pattern, that they were the one running away and you were the one pursuing them. And without you pursuing them, they'll see that they don't actually want to keep running away from you. They just felt like they had to because of the situation. And that's when your avoidant ex is going to have to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask themselves what they really want. Now, can I guarantee that they're going to come away with the answer that you want them to? That they want you back? Well, of course I can't. Because there is also a chance that they'll still see that the two of you aren't the best fit and that they need to move on. But I will guarantee that if you keep chasing them, they're definitely going to move on and leave you. So really you have to decide if you want to let your own anxiety about losing them drive your behavior, or if you want to pull away and give them a chance to actually come back to you. Whatever you decide, I hope that it's the right choice for you. And if you're still wondering what path to take forward, I'm here to help. Just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching to speak with me directly about your breakup and learn how you can reconnect with your ex. I've helped thousands of other heartbroken people, and I would love to help you as well. Again, just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching to learn more. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.